Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I want to be talking about how you can win any lane as Fiddlesticks mid lane. Some of you guys have been asking me in the comments how I can play against Azir, Syndra and stuff like that. So in this video I'm going to be going over 5 tips that you can use to turn around these matchups into your favor. First, let's talk about the matchups in general. There's what I like to call the 4 horsemen of high elo, which include Azir, Syndra, Orianna and Ahri. Those are like, usually they're always in meta. One of these champs or 2 of these champs are always in the meta and they're always picked in high elo. So I've played a ton against these champions. It's quite annoying, but if you get the hang of it, it's playable. Personally, I think that Azir, Anivia and Syndra are the worst matchups by far. And that if these champions are piloted by players who have good mechanics and good game knowledge, it's almost impossible to win against them. So I would always recommend banning either Syndra or Azir and just straight up dodging if they pick Anivia, because no one really plays Anivia, right? If you're below Master, however, you don't have to worry about this, because these champs are very hard to pull off mechanically and people will always make mistakes in lower elos, so you can exploit their mistakes and come back into the game. The other matchups that are hard but not unplayable are stuff like Orianna, Hui, Talia, Ahri and so on. And against these matchups, I have a few special techniques that I'm going to go over into this video. So first of all, the number 1 trick that I use, it's very efficient, and I do against almost any matchup. So let me pull up this VOD that I have here, where I'm playing against Grandmaster Vega, right? What you will always see me do in the early levels is hard trade with them level 1. I will just walk in and eat them. I will walk into their face and auto attack them. And you want to be forcing as hard as possible as you can level 1, like this. And sure, it looks bad right now, right? Because you're tanking the entire wave. You're like, oh, this is pretty bad for me. And he like, it's like a even/bad trade for you. But in reality, this is a really good trade. Because what happens now is he has to use both his potions. And you have to use 1 or 2 potions as well, right? What this means, first of all, is that he's low, which means it adds volatility to the game. And why is this good? Because volatility always benefits you in these type of matchups, right? Control mages, or just mages in general, they want to play a slow control game. They want to scale up. They want to play like a chill early game. And you want to do the exact opposite. You want to create as much chaos as you can possibly can. So if you're both low, this benefits you a lot, because you have a lot more sustain than him, which means level 2 you can always skill W and just heal off the wave, and you're way more HP than him. And it also opens up gank opportunities, right? Because if you're a jungler, I mean, a lot of junglers don't know this, but you have like insane gank setup. So in higher elos they will recognize this and gank. But in lower elos, if they see the enemy is low, for example, then they might just run there anyways. But if they were full HP, they wouldn't come, because they don't know about your gank setup, right? So trading hard level 1 is the best thing you can do against these type of matchups. They also run out of hell far quicker than you, because you can always heal back off the wave or minions or neutral objectives. So you will just out-sustain them. So trading even or even slightly bad is always worth it for you. Just be careful that you don't overextend the level 1 trade and die. You just want to be trading until you're like 20 to 30% HP and then back off. So now let's look at what happens in this lane. As you can see, Vega is pretty low. He has no potions anymore. I have 1 potion still left. So I just keep poking with my E. And this ends up resulting in him having to base and teleport back onto the lane. So this is already really winning for me, right? Also, always take TP against these type of matchups, by the way. I always take TP against control mages or mages in general, right? So this opens up 2 things for me. I can either get a free base off right now, or I could, like, for example, invade or move bot lane or something like that. So what I do here is I just take the free base. Actually, I try to look bot lane, but nothing happens, so I just take the free base, right? And what you're gonna see now, that he had to use TP and I got to keep my TP because I traded with him hard level 1. So he had the base, he had no pots anymore. I out-sustained him and he had the base. So now what you're gonna see, later on in the game, I get level 6, I go base, and I just run straight bot. And opens up this play opportunity where I can go bot. I can just run bot, I can get my ult off like this. we get a kill and I can just TP back mid lane. And he can't do anything about it because he had to use his TP and I got to keep mine. So this is all a result of trading hard level 1. Now, in the second bot that I have, I'm playing against an Orianna, which is a very, very common matchup. Always take Ahri against Orianna, by the way, because she has a shield, so Comet is pretty useless against her. What you're gonna see me do in this matchup, again, is trade hard level 1. Right? You just want to E her and just run into her face and auto-attack her, and she thinks she's winning, which it looks like it at first, right? But then you just hit level 2 and you heal off back off the wave, and she's really in a bad position then, right? So here you can see we're both level 2. She has no potions anymore. It's very volatile, this lane. If anyone ganks us right now, we would die. So my jungler could just run straight here and I could flash fear her and she would die. I could also just run to my raptors and just heal off them. I could do 1 W and would be almost back to full HP and she would have the base and TP, right? But what I choose to do instead here is I choose to play really aggressive. So she wants to kill me here, right? I get drop really, really low, and what I do is I just flash drain her because it forces, she has to flash as well. Right? She either flashes or she dies like this because she would, I mean, she just forgot about my area, I guess, and she greeted her flash. But flashing is always worth it if she also has to flash, right? Trading flash is always beneficial for you. Keep in mind, like, you always want to make it as chaotic and volatile as possible. And her flash is way more valuable than mine because it, first of all, makes her really, really vulnerable to gank opportunities. And then second of all, when you hit level 6, you can just ult in her face and she can't run away anymore, right? So now what happens? I move top, there's a fight. Nothing really happens, but this is all because I traded hard level 1 again. I can move top lane, right? I can do something with my team. I have to TP back to lane, unfortunately. And what you will see me do here, I will use neutral objectives to my advantage. This is my second tip, right? Always use camps to advantage. Like wolves are okay. They're like not that great, but they're okay for healing. And raptors are absolutely broken for healing, right? You can do like 1 W on raptors and you're almost back to full HP. And grubs are also really, really OP for healing, which you will see me use later on. So here you will see me go to grubs. I will hit them once, I will wait for the small minions to spawn, and I'm back to full HP, right? With 1 W. So what you can do is, you can hard trade them. Even if it's a losing trade for you, you just don't want to die, right? You just trade until you're somewhat low, and then you back off, and you heal off your jungle objectives. And this is tip number 3, which is attacking their mana pool, right? You're basically making them use their mana onto you, and then you just go to a camp and heal back off, and they can't do this forever. And they will eventually run out of mana and they are forced to base. So you get a big advantage from this. You can only do this, however, if in the early game, right? And usually they buy tier, or they buy lost chapter, or they buy even both. And after they get lost chapter, you can't really do this anymore because they don't run out of mana anymore. But in early game, you can really force them to trade you and then heal back off camps. And this makes it really, really hard for them to play the game if they're low mana, right? They're completely useless if they don't have any mana. So just use your sustain to your advantage and make them run out of mana with your sustain, right? You have to see your own health bar as a resource, right? You want to be trading your health for their mana, and then you can always replenish your health because you're Fiddlesticks. Tip number 4 that I can give you is always play with your jungler and your support. You always want to be working together. You always want to be setting up ganks, pinging them a lot, clear vision for them, and so on, because this is how you really, really snowball a game. As you can see in this game, for example, I moved to grubs and we killed the graves together, and then we move bot lane together. I get an ult off, we get a kill here. So this is how you want to be playing Fiddlesticks mid. You want to be playing together with your jungler and your support. And the key to this is like pinging a lot, right? Good communication, and then having good map awareness. You want to be moving together. For example, ganking bot as 2 is really OP because you can come from 2 sides and they can't escape. And in higher elos, you can also work together with your support because they will start roaming a lot more. And tip number 5 is that you should always, when your ult is up or it's about to come off cooldown, you should always be buying a pink ward. And you should look to gank bot lane. ganking bot lane is just so broken because of your ult, and because there's 2 champions. You can always find opportunities to kill them. Even if they have a ward, you can just pink ward it, and their vision is gone, and then you can just ult anyways, right? And oftentimes I just run straight bot. I completely ignore mid lane, because you can't do a lot mid lane after they get like their first item. It's kind of like you can't do anything, right? They will just push you in, they will just poke you down, they will just harass you, and you can't do a lot. So why would I waste my time in a lane where I can't do anything anyways, when I can snowball my bot lane, right? Where I can potentially get 2 kills. So that's why I always look to roam bot lane and always buy at least 1 pink ward when my ult is about to come off cooldown or it's up. And then you want to be snowballing your bot lane. And with this, you can swap back after they take the bot lane turret. They can swap mid lane and you can swap bot lane, and playing sideline for you is way better, because you can have like way more ult angles to kill them from. So this is what's really good for you to do. And even if they spot you, right, oftentimes they have it warded and they spot you, but even then you can just stay around, and they have to drop all the waves. Like, they have 2 choices. They either stay in a turret and get dove by you and your ult, or they disrespect you and they stay in a turret and you can just ult them and they lose their entire wave. And trading your life is worth it for it, right? Because if you trade your life and they miss like 2 waves, 3 waves, and your ADC gets 2 or 3 plates, it's like super worth it for you. Sure, the enemy mid laner gets a few plates as well, but I don't really care about that. I just want to snowball and make the game as fast paced as possible. As always, don't be afraid to skip waves. You get massively outscaled anyways. Right? If you just stay in lane and you just farm and you try to, like, you know, stay even with the enemy mid laner, you will just get massively outscaled by these type of champions like Azir, Talia, and so on. They will just massively outscale you. So it's completely useless to stay in mid lane and just try to farm. So what you want to be doing is just create chaos and create plays all across the map. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I hope you learned something. And if you want to ask any questions, feel free to do so in the comments. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and leave a like or subscribe if you want to see more content. And I hope you have a nice day.